Start one, bench one, sell one, featuring Ziyech, Pulisic, and Timo Werner. So today we're going to do start one, bench one, sell one, featuring these three players, and we're going to run through and give our thoughts on who should stay at Chelsea, who should stay at Chelsea and maybe sit on the bench, and who should Chelsea sell. Tommy, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start us off. These players have are similar to each other in the fact that they have pretty distinct flaws. Timo Werner is incredible off the ball, but on the ball, not so much. Ziyech is very one-footed to the point where it's detrimental when we're playing against good teams. He can beat up against smaller sides, but against good defenders, it's pretty obvious what he's going to do. And Pulisic is very inconsistent. He can come up clutch in big games, but then he can be invisible in the next game. My first thoughts. I think we should sell Ziyech. I think if we're going to compete in the biggest games in the EPL, compete against Man City and Liverpool, I think he doesn't cut it in those big games, especially the Champions League games, because of how one-footed he is, and so how obvious it is what he's going to do: cut on his foot and either cross, cut on his left foot and either cross or shoot. Yes, he can come up with these crazy goals, but that's not going to cut it for Chelsea. I think Timo and Pulisic have bigger strengths when it comes to helping us win against bigger teams and consistently. I guess Pulisic is pretty inconsistent, but you can see in our title run in 2021 how huge he was off the bench. And that's why I think he should stay, but also be on the bench because he has that clutch gene. If you give him 30 minutes, he'll be top form Christian Pulisic. And I think we should keep Timo. I guess I don't really think we should start any of these guys.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, dude.
But I think Timo, as frustrating as it is watching him, he provides the most value off the ball, and it's kind of sneaky how important he is sometimes when he's playing in terms of creating space. This year, not so much, but in 2021, especially in the Champions League final, he created the space for Kai to score the goal. And when he's on the pitch, we do create a lot of chances. Just not while he's on the ball. He creates the runs to open up some space, but if you give him the ball, he's just gonna run straight to the end line and he's just gonna run straight at a player. He has no skill whatsoever. It's amusing at most.
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted. I think, Tom, I'm in a similar boat where I don't know if any three of these players are good enough to start consistently for Chelsea, because they all have their on days. They all have the days when they get a very big goal, an important goal, or are playing like they, how we know they can play. But the thing is, in reality, probably 60% of all three of these guys' games are bad. They have an off day. They have an off couple games. And so I don't really think any of them are good enough or maybe not good enough. They're not consistent enough to be Chelsea's consistent starter. That being said, Tom, I do think I agree with all three of your picks. But honestly, the one that I like most is Pulisic on the bench. And I don't think he wants to hear that really, but I think his skill set fits in best with being an impact sub. Because of the way he plays and his explosiveness and his directness, makes him very dangerous when he's on the ball. And really anything can happen when he's on the field with kind of that eye for goal. So I think he should be locked down. I think Chelsea should keep him as a bench player and as an impact sub. I think Ziyech should be sold. I think right now he's obviously not getting too much time, and he does offer something different with his crossing ability, but we can honestly, for the most of the time, rely on crosses from Reese, or obviously Chilwell when he's in or when he's healthy. And then Timo, I agree, probably is the most consistent player with having an impact on the pitch. Yes, it's not always goals, but he's probably the most consistent with just making something happen or always running. I think he has a very impressive work rate, but he doesn't provide any goals. You know, it'd be nice to have a player that has all three of these guys' assets and can stay healthy and stay on the field. I'm honestly trying to think of someone who can do that, and I don't see anyone. I'll be interested to see if they do bring in Conor Gallagher to play in one of those positions. He has been playing a little bit deeper at Palace, but also he's been playing kind of that winger role or second cam. So I think he could fit in well there as well. And I think one of these players is bound to leave. So I think it will be interesting to see what type of competition Gallagher brings to kind of this conversation.
Yeah, so you guys are the experts. I'm just here to say my opinion and like just to see if you guys disagree with me. So if you disagree with me, let me know. But I actually think that Timo should be the one that Chelsea should sell. I'm all about, fit and, how do these players fit on the team? How are they going to play? And I think Timo, most of the time when I see him, is playing either in a cam position or he's playing as a winger. And honestly, that's not how he plays. He plays oftentimes at Leipzig as a second striker, right? Pulisic was oftentimes that target man, and Timo got the freedom to really float around and be where he wanted to be, right? And then I think Ziyech, actually, I have him on the bench, exactly why, Harry talked about. He adds a little bit something different. He's more of a technical player. And I actually have Pulisic, even though he's very inconsistent, oftentimes injury prone, he's shown flashes of the player that he can be. He's 23 years old, and it's shocking that he's still that young. But I have starting Pulisic, benching Ziyech, and selling Timo Werner. I think Timo, for how long he's been at Chelsea, really his only highlight has been making a run into space in the Champions League. Of course, he's scored other goals, but that's like the main thing that we talk about, and that's definitely part of the game and everything. But for a player that Chelsea brought in, I expect much more of him.
That's interesting. I'm also curious to see, just because of the fact that they are all three players of quality who aren't on the field at the same time, makes me think that one of these players is going to be sold, if not two. But I think it's likely that one of them will be sold. So I think it's probably also interesting to see who's worth the most money, because I think that'll definitely play a factor. Because if they sell one, they're likely going to buy someone else. And I don't even know. I'm guessing Timo has the highest value.
It's actually Pulisic at 50.
Is it Pulisic?
But it's really close.
How much is Timo?
Timo's 46, Pulisic's 50 mil, and Ziyech is 35 mil.
Okay, so I mean they all carry pretty good value. So I think it will be interesting to see who is sold. Max, I know you actually mentioned earlier that you saw a Juventus rumor.
Yep.
That's an interesting take. I'm not really sure how he would fit in at Juve, but
Pulisic, right?
Yeah, but Pulisic on his good day is the best of all three of these guys. It's really just a question of if he can do that consistently.
Right. Yeah, I would love to see him pair up with a Weston McKennie or something like that, but he might be on his way out too. I've seen some Arsenal rumors, some other rumors like that, so only time will tell.